I just put on the new post. 40,000 more hours of training and meditation. And some of you guys might actually call me a master. Do any of you guys even know what 20,000 hours of training and meditation looks like? Much less 40,000 hours of training and meditation. Much less 80,000 hours of training and meditation. Anybody? Does the Dalai Lama know? 80,000 hours? Is he connected to God and Mother Earth like I am yet? I don't know. He'd have to be hearing very similar things about the planetary ascension process. Anyway, the point is this. Those chips you guys have on your shoulder about everything you do in life, that's pride. Look at me, I did this. That's like Jesus, Avada Kedavra. Jesus. Jesus goes, at least to the pride on your shoulder. I was asked by a Scientologist that likes to watch this video, or my videos, will you talk about Scientology? I've got some stories. All right. I'm not into Scientology, but I'm not against it. But here, this is the thing about Scientology. It has no fucking heart. It's all Slytherin. It's not Hufflepuff. It's not Gryffindor. Even if it's trying to be Gryffindor, it's kind of heartless, you know. That's what happens when you, like, if you're supporting sex cults or, like, left hand path beat the shit out of you, that kind of cult. So it sucks. But there's magic. I agree. There's healing. There's a lot of it's futility, like Slytherin, because it's really missing like the actual love. They wouldn't treat everybody like shit. They wouldn't charge a fortune. They wouldn't be like throwing people out on the streets. They wouldn't be blackmailing their students to like divulge all information and then like, you know. So it's still just Slytherin. And that's fine. At least we have like a category to put it in. It's not really hitting the realms of God. Cause God, once you connect to God, it's like abundance and marshmallow, and like you understand that the God energy is like pure like heaven, where people are like angels and like 3 years old. Like God has the consciousness of a 3-year-old, okay? In like in an innocent kind of way. It's really hard when you know that. It's like Krishna, okay? It's really hard when you know that like it's that innocent and that pure and that much love to like really give credence to Scientology. And that's fair. Again, just Slytherin. One of the One of the Slytherin Scientologists that I knew in my life, I worked for as a personal assistant for about a week. I could only handle her for about a week. Called her Crazy Carrie. Her Crazy Carrie. Okay, she was friends with a celebrity, and she was clear in the Scientology. She goes, my brain runs so fast, faster than anybody. I'm so advanced. I can't handle anybody. Nobody can keep up with me. Da 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 da. I'm so perfect and clear and everything. Like, it was psycho. It was fucking psycho. She had nothing like of actual spiritual teachings. She had no love. So, like, it was just pure slava and, like, no heart. I ended up leaving her as a personal assistant. I sent her off to Colorado, and I escaped. And you know why I escaped? Once she went off to her second home in fucking Colorado, and I'm just a lowly personal assistant, I worked 40 hours, which was the full week, and she didn't want to pay me for the 5 days because I only worked 4 days. But I worked the 40 hours, and she didn't even want to pay me for my time. Even though I was the best personal assistant she had, and I was the first one that could ever keep up with her because my brain ran just as fast as she does, and I was just as clear as she was. And then she had the audacity to tell me that I had a chip on my shoulder. That was Scientology for you. She was one of the Golden Girls, apparently. So, which is, illegal to not pay somebody for their full time as you hire them as your assistant. And that's exactly how I feel about them. They'll take advantage of everyone, just like the rest of Hollywood. They'll not pay, and it wasn't even very much money. It was like baseline. So, pride. Every Scientologist that I know, or have heard or seen, it's pride. So even if they got into Hufflepuff, it's fucking pride shit. Because I've never seen it where it's like beauty. Ever. You'd have to come from an actual Jesus space. Sorry. But that's like, you'd have to like have been told by God that you're gonna be like Mother Teresa for the planet, to like, and actually understand what that means without it being like, yeah, I'm gonna be like Mother Teresa. Okay, because a lot of people do that too. And there's still like this much of that in me, but man, when you start getting into Tiferet and seeing all the anger and all the karma everywhere, you go, oh, let go of the pride about anything. I have a few stories here in Pride. My body is shaking because I'm terrified. Okay. I'm terrified that I'm not good enough. I'm terrified that I'm never going to be okay. And that's kind of the Hufflepuff. Because it's like all the air in my body is, the fear in my body is, I'm not good enough. And it's humbling. So that humility is actually the opposite of the pride. So that's a health. That's a sign of health in Hufflepuff. It's like, I'm just a nothing. Like kind of like Frodo or Froda. All right. So inner child. The inner child comes out in Tiferet real fast because you go, I'm just a nothing. I have some stories about my inner child. My biggest pride in life was being so fucking smart. I was smarter than ever. Hermione had nothing on me. Me at the age of like 4th grade. Okay, like, like you guys don't even know. I have a school of a bunch of privileged white kids, and nobody's hand is up. Mine. Okay, like in my 4th grade class, I was in a 5th grade class. Like, you know. I'm pretty sure there are geniuses all around the world that want to compete with me, and they can. And then they can learn how to, Ravenclaw this planet up so that we're going to be fine. And you know what? That's great. All the little spelling bee kids, everything. All those little genius children just go straight into Ravenclaw. Great. Figure out all the quantum mechanics for infinity, and we'll work as a team. Please. Help me. So, but me as a kid, here I am in 5th grade. My little sister is now in 4th grade. Yes, I had a little sister. Still do. And she's kind of a piece of shit. Not as smart as me. Kind of mean. And she knew it. But she was really popular. And I was kind of popular when I was, in this school age, like young elementary. And my little sister wanted to run for president. And so did I. And we would have been fine because we would have been in separate years and it would have been all good. And my pride got the best of me because my pride then made me lazy. Because then it's like, oh, I'm so smart, I don't have to do any work. So you know what I did? I didn't write my essay for the president speech and turn it in on time. And I told the teachers that my sister ripped it up so that I could have a couple more days. It's probably the worst thing I ever did to my little sister. She's the kind of girl who could have and would have, but so it was believable, but she didn't do it. All right. But I tried to get away with shit. Because I thought I was so good that I could. And that's where most of you guys are doing that every single day. For everything. And then there's like a chip on your shoulder about it. And it's just not good. Like, why does the planet still look like shit? But you guys are getting away with shit. And then there's the look at me, I look at how rich I am. And then there's like a million homeless people outside. It's really bad to be proud of being wealthy when there are a bunch of homeless people outside. Okay? So they're really that kind of pride is not a virtue. The pride should be in like, look at how wealthy I am and how well I've learned how to invest so that other people, everyone around me, can profit, including the planet and all the creatures on the planet. So way to turn that pride into generosity and charity. So then that's not false pride, which is arrogance. Okay, so all of you guys are filled with this false pride shit. Even I am. Like, I think I can handle a planetary ascension by myself. No, but I'm trying to. I'm doing whatever I can. But it's scary. But if I can teach you guys through my humility different life lessons, maybe we'll be okay, and maybe we can faith, trust, and pixie dust with each other. So my other pride came from being good with dogs, because I'd be better at training them than their own owners. And you know what that created? A mess. Because it's kind of like a Rosemary's Babies kind of deal. Because you're like, oh, you know. So instead of learning how to train the owner, I trained the dog. Instead of training the owner. And boy, did I learn that lesson every time. Whether it was like me leaving the dog with an untrained owner, right? Or leaving the dog after I've developed an emotional attachment with the dog. So there's like that pride that like it's a poison that sits inside of you and then just rots. I have on my list homeless people, we've talked about. Slava, we've talked about. Litter pickup. Okay, let's talk about homeless people. This sucks. This fucking sucks. When I was on my hunger strike, your guys' opinions about homeless people is insane. Because nobody deserves to be homeless. It's not just a bunch of crazy people. So when I was on my hunger strike, you know what it was like to sleep next to a dad with 2 kids on the beach, on a frozen beach. And you go, those kids, and this is in like white privilege territory. And you're like, oh my God. Like that needs to not exist. Like there shouldn't be this huge divide of wealth. There should be an evening out. So the kids do not, like, if you're so cruel that you look at a bunch of kids and you go, that's their karma, it's probably your karma. A bunch of like fucking kids don't deserve to just be homeless, like freezing on a beach for their life. And that's the way they grow up. Sorry. So if you can't get into the charity component, you can't get into Tiferet or even graduate. You have to be in Tiferet to be in Hufflepuff. You have to have graduated Tiferet to be in Ravenclaw or Gryffindor. So if you are a victim to other people being homeless, it's just never gonna work. Ever. Now, so these are like baseline needs of humans. Baseline. So it's like, how do I deal with it should be the first question. What can I do to participate to make sure that that doesn't happen is the second question. And then how do we like do it where we're not raping the planet? It should also be one of the first fucking questions. Now, let's talk about slava. Tiferet is all slava. But by Tiferet, maybe your inner child is turned on. So it feels like, yeah, this is the job of a saint. Period. It's just like, yeah, Tiferet. It's just constant service. You're either downloading all the problems for infinity through your brain like I do, just to make sure nobody gets fucked. All right? Or you're doing crazy crystal children work, or you're in a homeless shelter, you're building them, or you're figuring out how to bring magic to the planet so that we're not raping the planet. Like, there are a million jobs to do. But your entire existence by Tiferet is doing them nonstop. That's what makes you a witch and a master, right? Is just 24 hours a day service. Remember, Slytherin is like, and it's service without pride. It's like, ooh, look at me. I did something good. So Slytherin is like, oh, I can, just do some good sometimes, and then I get a golden egg. And then by Hufflepuff, you're like, oh crap, I need to make sure that no Reavers get to the planet all day long. Period. In my thoughts, in my intentions, in my spiritual will, in my magic, making sure everything is good. Boom, 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 boom. I don't know what it's going to be like in Gryffindor yet, because I haven't gotten to Gaebera. But I'm telling you, the Hufflepuff grids are not easy. They're almost impossible, which is why there's not a lot of Hufflepuff witches on the planet. Unless there are. But there will be someday. So we gotta prepare. Being a Hufflepuff witch is kind of like being a Hufflepuff muggle. You're like, it's just it's the same. Litter pickup. Litter pickup. Don't be proud of the litter you picked up. It's just you. It's every excuse, every cigarette. It's just, at this point, at Tiferet, it's all just sad. So if somebody else litters in front of you, in Tiferet, you go, thank you. You might want to turn on their angel genomes, give them a little halo in your brain. And you go, thanks for the reminder. Then you offer gratitude. This is kind of like when you hear about Indian gurus being like, thanks for pissing on me. it's not coming from a place of, it's coming from a place of understanding that it's like inner work that still needed to get done from the higher planes. And this is why I'm going to get in, I'm trying to get to Gryffindor real fast, because I don't think Gryffindors deal with that. I think that that's a Hufflepuff thing. So I don't really feel the desire to like want to get pissed on and then say thank you. So I'm going to try to get into Gryffindor real fast, because that's where it's like, now I'm taking full responsibility.